So I actually had zero intentions of coming here today and filming a video, but I'm being slow fired, that's what I'm going to call it, by my current employer right now, because they made terrible business decisions starting in the COVID pandemic and just in general the last several years. And as punishment, I'm a disposable employee being treated like a piece of wet cardboard in the recycling bin, the trash bin. Anyways, so I'm here at a park crocheting, and I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot the last month, because I went to work on time just to realize that my shift actually started an hour later than it's been starting the last several months. Again, because they don't give a damn if I can't pay rent tomorrow. So anyways, let's talk about the thing I want to talk about, which is the fact that social media is making you stupid. Society today is making you stupid, and not enough people are angry about this. You have AI doing all of this work for you. It's literally taking over your jobs. It is reducing your critical thinking skills, and people are literally using it for therapy, which is one of the saddest things you could ever hear because they don't have money to go to real therapy. Social media literally reduces the gray matter in your brain. And if you don't know what that means, the gray matter in your brain is essentially your critical thinking skills. That's part of it. And studies have shown that it's literally going down. It has been scientifically proven that you're becoming dumber the more that you doom scroll, the more that you are on social media. And the worst part of it is that we have glorified this concept called bed rotting, because everyone is overworked and underpaid these days. And if you're not overworked and underpaid, there's a pretty good chance that you just don't like your job, but it's like the best thing that you can get right now. And people cope by doom scrolling because it doesn't really take that much energy. It's readily available, and it has been designed to have the biggest dopamine hits consistently over and over and over again, so you never leave it. It is a literal addiction, and it targets people. It targets vulnerable people, and we are vulnerable people. We're vulnerable people because we are overworked and because we are underpaid, because I'm 25 and social media first started coming to light when I was in high school, because the younger you are, and if people start giving you these addictive products, they're gonna have a customer for life, and you're gonna be a zombie doing everything that they want you to instead of doing things that are good for yourself. The vulnerable populations, the term that I learned having a degree in public health, and it really just radically changes your point of view about the entire world, because you realize the manipulative tactics of people in order to make money off of vulnerable populations. For example, I remember reading a Substack article talking about how kids from richer families actually, even though kids from richer families have more access to screens, so phones, laptops, tablets, etc., but they're actually on screens for fewer hours a day compared to kids with poorer socioeconomic backgrounds who might only have one screen, which is their phone. Basically what it's saying is that the poorer you are, the more likely you are to doom scroll, and the richer you are, the less likely you are to doom scroll. And doom scrolling, as I already said, makes you stupider. It reduces the gray matter in your brain, and it turns you into a consumer more than you already are, because consumerism is the perfection of slavery. I'm going to link a video above that everyone should really watch. So long as you are a consumer for the rest of your entire life, you will always be enslaved in a system that is destroying the planet, and it's destroying your livelihood. I've learned to crochet. I'm currently crocheting a tank top. This is what I do instead of doom scrolling, because this will be my little aside for this video. Crocheting is something that you can do with your hands. It takes up a little bit of your eye energy, and it takes up a little bit of your brain energy. It's not too hard, although you can make it kind of hard. And it's honestly the perfect replacement for doom scrolling. It's portable. It doesn't have to be that big of a project. I literally made a GoPro case, which is what I'm filming on right now, with a little handle. See, look at the smile on my face. I made something instead of doom scrolling my life away. I don't even remember what I was just saying a second ago. Whatever. We have to find ways to get off of these addictive apps. And I don't like to quote the book, The Power of Habit, just because I haven't read it in a very long time, and I just honestly hate self-help books in general. The self-help industry is, again, like a predatory system to make money off of people's insecurities. But one of the things that I remember from The Power of Habit was essentially saying if you want to get rid of one habit, you have to replace it with a different habit that kind of mimics the original habit to some degree, but is different and gives you the positive side effects instead of the negative side effects of the original habit. So for crocheting, it perfectly satisfies my need of stimulation, which is what most people are seeking, is stimulation when they're bored. I get to make something. I get to move my hands. I get to touch something. I get to feel something. And the better part is I actually learn. And I'm not constantly putting blue light into my eyes and giving myself a headache. I literally got a concussion earlier this year from biking and getting hit by a car. So honestly, I could do less with all the blue light. Oh, I remember what it was now. I was talking about how consumerism is the perfection of slavery. People get mad when I talk about the concept of wage slavery because much more vile forms of slavery exist in the world, and I have never denied that reality. But wage slavery is still a form of slavery, and one of the worst parts about it is that it's a slavery that people want to opt into. It's something that we've been told to strive for. It's something that has become the norm, and people literally are seeking out ways to be a wage slave. We get 2 weeks of vacation a year in the United States on average, and that's only if you have a job that has benefits. I don't have jobs that have those kinds of benefits right now, so all of my vacation time comes out of my own pocket and choosing not to work. Consumerism is the perfection of slavery because so long as you're always insecure about your material possessions, you will always be buying stuff. Always. And then you will always have to work to continue to buy things. Think about it. You always have to work to buy things, and most of the things that you're buying, you don't need. There is that Labubu trend right now. Is that what it's called? Like the ugly dolls. Isn't that like their 5th richest person in China started that like new trend, and now he's going to be even richer or something like that? Literally, why are people hopping on this trend? Why? It is not cute. It is so stupid. All of that is going to end up in someplace in Africa or Asia in these gigantic landfills, polluting the planet, polluting the earth, and polluting the direct areas that those people live within. We don't need stuff, and everything is basically made from slaves. So you are a wage slave that has been trained to be a consumer and never question the status quo. And then everything that you buy as a wage slave was made by actual slaves who have terrible qualities of life. So even though I am making my own clothing, which I honestly don't really need because I do have a lot of clothing, this is better because, one, I'm learning the art of literally anything. I'm learning a craft, I'm learning a hobby, I'm training my brain, I'm using numbers to create patterns, I'm expressing myself, I'm learning what materials feel like. I'm actually doing something with my brain, which is more than most people can say about themselves right now. And on one hand, I don't blame people for being addicted to social media. It has literally been designed to be addictive. You are a victim of this addictive drug, but it is your responsibility to take life in your own hands and do something instead of nothing. That is the cold hard truth of being alive on this planet. It is not your fault that people are hurting you, but it is your responsibility to try and relieve yourself of that pain. And I've been trying for a very long time to get off of these apps because I was feeling more and more like a zombie. It was reducing my self-esteem. I was constantly comparing myself to other people, and if one of my friends went to a social event that I wasn't invited to, I automatically thought that nobody liked me. And then I would see some other outdoor influencer getting better deals than I would be. I would see somebody going on this like better trip than I was going on. I just hated myself. And I'd be mindlessly scrolling, and the next thing you know, an hour and a half went by, and you could have gone to the gym in that entire time. You could have cleaned the house. You could have hung out with a friend. You could have read a book. Any of that kind of stuff. I've been trying to get off these apps, and I've had a myriad of ways of reducing my screen time. I use my phone to read books on like the Kindle app. I was playing Sudoku. I started doing the New York Times puzzles, all those games. And those things helped me reduce my screen time, but I was still on my phone. I didn't like the blue light. And I still could easily go hop over to Instagram and doom scroll if I wanted to. Crochet was the only thing that perfectly satisfied my need to get off of these godforsaken apps, which literally everybody should get off of. It's literally making you dumber. Like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you that. Scream it on the top of your rooftops, tell all your friends and your family. Remind them that they're becoming dumber from these apps because you do not benefit from becoming stupid. You become easier to manipulate the stupider that you become. I am begging people to find ways to break this addiction and alert everyone of how bad it is. There was a Netflix documentary that came out talking about how bad it was. So people are trying. There are new YouTube videos coming up talking about how it's hotter if you logged out, talking about how critical thinking is no longer cool. And I'm glad there's a trend of people trying to alarm the general public that the goal of essentially the people in power is to make us dumb so we can be manipulated and continually buy things that we don't need in order to get those dopamine rushes and feel like we're living a good quality of life. Think harder. Live better, live more intentionally. You don't need that new pair of pants. You don't, and you only need that new pair of pants if your old pair broke. Like, you can make it yourself, and then you'll realize how all the clothing you buy is artificially cheap because we employ wage slaves in a much worse fashion in places like Guatemala. Like, you know, this yarn that I'm using was probably made from slaves, but at least it's not a slave making this shirt for me. At least I'm making it, and it's gonna be specifically tailored to my body. And I get to use all this time critically thinking. I feel more like a human. I literally feel the neuroplasticity happening in my brain the longer I've been crocheting, because I've had Instagram deleted off my phone for about 5 days a week for the last couple of months. I literally feel like I'm less of a zombie. I feel like I'm more of a human. I feel like myself again. I feel like Claire again. I feel smarter. I feel more confident. I don't think I realized how little of a person I felt for all those months that I was on those apps. The goal of the ultra rich is essentially to create a hierarchy of slavery in the world. I, as a white person in the United States of America, sits a bit higher on that hierarchy of slavery. Then you have the children in cobalt mines who are way lower, and the people in occupied territories of this world. I'll name it here. I don't know if YouTube is a censor or not. I really don't know. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is there's a hierarchy of slavery. You have the consumers who have to work meaningless jobs all the time, who aren't happy with their lives, but at least they can buy something to feel a little bit better and go to a concert. And you have the other people where their lives are even more disposable because we don't have real health care in the United States, and people are going to off themselves all the time because they're so miserable. And then you have people in other countries where they're dying because of malnutrition, they're dying because of forced starvation, which is what we're seeing right now in said place from earlier. You have the slaves of India and in China who are making your clothing, who are making that stupid plastic product that you don't need. People need to be more creative in how beautiful of a world we could live in. People are too complacent to just think the status quo is the greatest it could ever be. If cancer is the uncontrolled growth of something in a contained system, capitalism is the biggest cancer of this world, and it's gonna kill everyone on it so a few people can get really rich for this one lifetime on Earth. So what are some ways that you can get off of these apps? Because it's really easy for me to just tell people to get off of these apps. It's one thing to actually get off of them, again, because they are made to be addictive. First thing is crocheting and knitting. Like I mentioned earlier, you use your brains, you use your hands, it's portable, and you get to make something. You get the dopamine hit of completing a project. You can do it both socially and alone. I've literally been at bars drunk crocheting when I was too tired to talk to people instead of scrolling on my phone. I can also be home alone or watching reality TV doing this. Instead of that, you could do Zen doodling. You could get a little sketchbook and be a Zen doodler. You could just be one of those people who journals all the time. I feel like there's a lot of people on YouTube who romanticize this novelty of just journaling for like an hour every day. That could be you. You could practice meditation. You could get a Sudoku book and just carry that book with you all the time. You could just, I don't know, like if you have a friend that works from home, like call them. There are so many ways to try and fight doom scrolling. And you're gonna have to fight it and replace doom scrolling with something else. You're gonna feel more like a human again. You're gonna experience a neuroplasticity of using your brain, being able to critically think, getting off of all of these AI ads and all of this crap that don't make you think anymore. Humanity is so beautiful, and it just makes me mad to see that a lot of humans are trying to destroy it. They're literally trying to destroy it in the name of profit. And we need to fight back in any way that we can, any single way. I'm here at a park right now in Baltimore because I went to my job that I'm a wage slave at, where they're slowly firing me. My theory is that they don't want to pay me my severance, so they're just going to continue reducing my hours because I quite literally am not going to be able to live off of my hours anymore until I find a new job and quit. That way they don't pay me my severance. That's my theory as to what they're doing right now. I'm crocheting in a park because I'm angry at the world My student loans are going to start accruing interest in 1 week. Losing my job, and my taxes are being used to create concentration camps in Florida. The least I can do is be a critical thinker. The least that I can do is urge other people to be critical thinkers. The least that I can do is believe that there's some hope in the world, that there's a better place, that we can make this a better place. So please stop supporting slavery. Please. Please do something instead of nothing, because it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to at least try.